The story opens up in a crime scene as rookie detective Han Mugang and his partner, Na Keen Kyan, make their way over to the body that's been dug up. The body was hit in the head with a blunt instrument, which indicates murder. Based on the shape of the skull, it's assumed that the victim was a man. Huang Kyan finds a mysterious gel-filled sack wedged between the skeleton's ribs, though. Mugang stops at a fast food place to get a bite to eat in order to settle his stomach, and the cashier, Kang Ha Ram, bluntly takes his order without looking at him. Mugang is fascinated by the fact she won't look at him, and she mutters that she'll pull out his eyes if he won't stop staring. Suddenly, Ha Ram sees a dark cloud behind another customer, and she suddenly grabs that customer's arm and begs him to wait a few minutes. The customer, however, shakes her off and hurries out to his car only to get fatally hit by a passing truck. Later that night, Ha Ram returns home to her rooftop apartment and begins talking to herself. It is revealed that she has the ability to see dark clouds around people who are soon going to die. That is why she wears sunglasses, to prevent herself from seeing the clouds. Mugang's girlfriend, Yoon So-wen, makes him a birthday dinner and reminds him to call his mother more often. He shrugs it off as he goes outside, headed to a storage room, one that requires a retina scan to let him in. As he enters, he asks someone on the phone if they've looked into it yet. A few days later, Ha Ram predicts a plane to go down and informs the authorities. However, she is escorted off the flight before it takes off as originally scheduled. At the police station, an actor and his entourage are currently being detained for being drunk and disorderly. One of the actor's entourage members is a rich businessman, Oh Man-soo. He grimaces when he sees the news of a plane crash. This is the same plane that Ha Ram was supposed to be in, and now it has crashed, killing everyone on board. Nan-soo is only worried because his family's insurance company will have to deal with any payout from the accident. Back with the detectives, we discover that the gel-like sacs found in the body are silicone breast implants. This means that the victim was actually a woman. The police haven't found a match with any missing person reports, so Mugang looks up the serial numbers on the implants. This way they can track the manufacturer, and subsequently the identity of their victim. Ha Ram is also at the station, being held under suspicion of terrorism since she knew that the plane would have an accident. Ha Ram insists she isn't a terrorist, claiming instead that she can see the shadow of death. Later at home, Nan-soo is overjoyed when his older brother tells him that he wants Man-soo to officially be in charge of the insurance division of Royal Group. Meanwhile, Mugang approaches Ha Ram and admits he overheard her talk about the death shadows. She reveals that she wears sunglasses because they block the black shadows of death. If she touches a shadow, she'll see how someone dies. In the morning, it's confirmed that the reason the plane crashed was due to technical failure, and not a terrorist act, so Ha Ram is released. She leaves the police station and Mugang offers to drop her home. As he drives, they pass a man standing on the edge of the bridge, surrounded by police and spectators. Ha Ram sees the shadow behind him and tells Mugang that the man will jump this time. But Mugang just laughs it off. On his way back to the station, Mugang passes the bridge again, and this time, the man actually falls off. Later that night, a very drunk Mugang visits Ha Ram at her home and tells her that she has a gift. By being able to see death, she can save people's lives. Ha Ram responds by slamming the door in his face. The following day, Mugang tracks down the hospital that used the breast implants, and he asks the doctor for their records about the patient from 20 years ago. It turns out the breast implants were a part of a sex change operation, which explains why there were no hits on the missing persons list. The doctor shows Mugang a photo of the patient, and his eyes grow wide in shock. He rushes back to a high school in his home. 20 years ago, he secretly watched the woman from the photograph beat up a female high school student, asking where the tapes were. Adult Mugang finds the name tag that had fallen off the student's uniform all those years ago, and after dusting it off, he reads the name Kim Seon-young. When Mugang goes through the school records until he finds a photo of Kim Seon-young. As he drives back to Seoul, he passes Ha Ram headed the other way. Mugang's girlfriend Soo-wen is a surgeon at Royal Hospital, and she happily hurries to the hospital rooftop to meet with Mugang for what she assumes is a romantic meeting. She stops in her tracks when Mugang calls her Kim Seon-young. Mugang wonders if she's surprised that he's found out her real name after she's worked so hard to hide it the past 20 years, and she gasps in shock when Mugang shows her the photo from the yearbook. 1 month later, at the police station, Mugang gets a call from Ha Ram, who tells him that she's decided to find out if her visions are a curse or a blessing. He soon comes to meet Ha Ram at the restaurant she works in. They then work together to arrest a runaway soldier who would have been in a hostage situation. Following this, Ha Ram goes to a sauna to celebrate. But when she returns to the locker room, she sees her locker door swing shut. It's odd since no one is around, and it's still locked when she tries to open it. Nothing seems to be missing. but she has 17 missed calls from Mu Gang. When she gets to the police station, Mu Gang isn't there. As she tries calling him again, she sees his police academy graduation photo, where he's wearing a red thread bracelet, the exact same bracelet a young Ha Ram made for her childhood opera right before he moved away. Just then, the military police arrive to take the runaway soldier, and now that Ha Ram can fully see his uniform, she realizes that he's not the original attacker from her vision. The police station gets word of a hostage situation at the shopping mall, but this time, Mu Gang is the hostage. He ended up at the mall because he went to pick up the original hostage's mother, who was lost with dementia. Ha Ram watches the news footage and then covers her eyes in horror when Mu Gang is shot in the head. Mu Gang is taken to Royal Hospital, where Su Wan is the attending surgeon in the ER, and is shocked to discover her old boyfriend is her new patient. Su Wan desperately tries to revive him, but Mu Gang dies on the table. A distraught Ha Ram attempts to hang herself with her shoelaces. She slowly slips into unconsciousness as her phone repeatedly buzzes. Meanwhile, a masked man in a doctor's coat enters the morgue, looking for Mu Gang's body. The man pulls out a scalpel to remove Mu Gang's eye, but instead, Mu Gang's eyes shoot open. The masked man runs away in fear as Mu Gang sits up, his eyes a demonic shade of red. Mu Gang, who has now become Grim Reaper, sneers that humans are so dramatic. Just as Ha Ram has pushed away the chair, the news reports that Mu Gang is still alive. She struggles to get her footing, but the chair is too far away. As she begins to lose consciousness, she desperately begs her father to help her live. She wakes up to Mansu's dog licking her face. Mansu quickly explains the dog actually saved her life. He totally believes she's a fortune teller, and he got her information when she was at the police station. He wanted her to tell him if his dog is going to die soon. But when no one answered the door, he was just going to leave. His dog kept insistently barking at the door, though, so Mansu broke in and managed to pull Ha Ram down in time. Mu Gang is asleep when the masked figure from before appears at his bedside, this time with a syringe filled with something that he puts into Mu Gang's IV bag. The masked man tells someone over the phone that it's taken care of. In the morning, Reaper Mu Gang, who will be called Black from this pageant onwards, is determined to find a way to shake Ha Ram, and runs off to the police station where Mu Gang works. There, he receives a call from Quang Kian about a murder they have to check out. The woman, a head doctor at a local mental health clinic, was slashed repeatedly in the abdomen, enough that her intestines spilled out. The attacker was a patient at the hospital, staying there under an assumed name. The only clue they have right now of the killer's identity is a partially burnt photograph of a high school student. Unbeknownst to them, though, elsewhere, Ha Ram gets a call from her landlady, who tells Ha Ram that she's returned her security deposit because Ha Ram's father stopped by and said that Ha Ram was moving out. That's a surprise to Ha Ram, who of course doesn't have a father. Following this, she goes to someone's house, where she pounds on the door until the woman's son lets Ha Ram in. Ha Ram searches the woman's belongings until she finds a package hidden in a corner. When she opens it, she's surprised that it's her father's old detective's badge, wallet, and keys. It is revealed that the woman is her mother. Ha Ram looks at the photos in the wallet, then pulls out an old folded paper that says that they know that her father didn't die from losing his footing. The note's author asks to meet with Ha Ram's mother. A flashback shows young Ha Ram had warned her that a man with a spider tattoo would push him off a building. Dad promises young Ha Ram that he'll catch the bad guy before anything can happen, and that he'll be home soon. Adult Ha Ram runs to the hospital, where her mother works as a nurse, and demands to know why Mom never reported Dad's death to the police. Mom says that Dad had to die because everything went wrong, including her falling in love with him and giving birth to Ha Ram. Ha Ram cries as she runs away from the hospital. Elsewhere, Mu Gang's mother and Su Wan drive Black to Mu Gang's home. It's dark and stormy, and Black watches at the window as a man walks slowly towards the house he is in, leaving bloody footprints in the rain. The man enters Mu Gang's house, and in a shocking twist, this man is none other than Mu Gang, in the same outfit he was killed in, and with blood streaming from his head. Mu Gang stares at Black and asks who he is. Watching from a telescope across the way is the man who had originally tried to take Mu Gang's eyes. A flashback reveals that Mu Gang was actually killed not by the man holding him hostage, but by a sniper under someone's orders. As Mu Gang fell to the ground after being shot, he saw an outline of 3 figures, one of whom vowed to catch someone with his own hands. These are presumably 3 Reapers, because Black tells the confused and bloody Mu Gang that Mu Gang actually died that day. Mu Gang continues to ask who the man is, and Black's appearance changes into his true Reaper form. In a flashback, Black, in his true Reaper form, informs us that there are 2 types of Reapers. First are those who are born Reapers, and then there are humans who became Reapers as punishment for committing suicide. There's a hierarchy between the two, with the suicide Reapers definitely being the lower class. Black, a born Reaper, commands respect from all the Reapers, no matter where they came from. Currently, he is partnered up with a suicide Reaper, much to Black's annoyance. It's the same guy that Mugang saw jump off the bridge. Black calls him loser, practically dragging him to the arcade game that gives them a capsule with their new soul assignment. He orders Loser to reap the soul shown in the capsule, and to not let the soul get away. If Loser lets the soul get away again, then he will never ascend to the upper world and instead will burn in a fiery pit. One of Black's Reaper coworkers, who died in the Joseon era, points out that there's no way Loser will be able to reap a soul by himself. Black smugly points out that after Loser fails, he will finally get a new partner. However, after Loser heads off to his assignment, another of Black's Reaper coworkers, who seems to love hip-hop, discovers that there's another capsule with Black's number on it. Realizing that he's going to have to work whether he likes it or not, Black hurries after Loser and ends up in the women's locker room. Hip-Hop follows, showing him that Loser actually threw the capsule away and is likely hiding in a dead body in the human world. They decide to find Loser first and disappear back into the lockers. And now we know what Ha-Ram saw when the locker seemed to shut by itself. Hip-Hop and Black head to a hotel, hunting around for a dead body. Black poofs in and out of rooms and hallways, but doesn't find Loser. The rules are that if a Reaper can't find a runaway partner, then the Death Squad will turn the non-runaway partner into a terrifying three-headed dog with eyes of fire. Black continues to look for Loser, and as he does, he runs across the bridge where Mugang is shot. As the Reapers stare at the body, Hip-Hop opens up the capsule. The soul Loser was to reap was Mugang's. The trio of Reapers follow Mugang's body to the hospital. As they watch Su-Wan fail to revive Mugang, Black decides that the best way to find Loser is to inhabit a body himself. That brings us to Mugang's face-to-face conversation with Black. Mugang protests that he can't die yet. He still needs to ask someone why she did this to him. Two Reapers arrive to drag Mugang away, and Black just scoffs that humans always plead for their lives in exactly the same manner. As Ha-Ram hurries to Mugang's house, Black walks along the bridge where Loser jumped off, and where Black reaped his soul. At the same time, Ha-Ram sees Black on the bridge, and tells her taxi driver to stop. She thinks it's Mugang with an unusual two shadows next to him. Really, it's just Black arguing with his coworkers, who are powerless to do anything against him. Turns out, the spirits can't physically touch his flesh and blood body, but Black's not immune to other humans bumping into him. As he stumbles, the second capsule falls out of his pocket and rolls into the street. He runs to get it, and as he picks it up, it shows him that Ha-Ram is the soul that's next to be reaped. Just then, Ha-Ram rushes over, pushing him out of the way of oncoming traffic, thus saving his life. Ha-Ram's unconscious from her head hitting the pavement, and the Reaper trio take her back to Mugang's place. Black decides to hide the capsule in one of Mugang's stuffed animals, then carries Ha-Ram to her home. Elsewhere, the detectives are looking into the murder at the mental health hospital, but so far, they don't have any leads. But Kwang Kyan does see something odd in the footage from the mental health hospital, Mugang visiting a month before the incident. That night, Joseon and Hip-Hop suddenly appear in Mugang's house, and inform Black that he is now on the Death Squad's wanted list. By morning, though, there's been another murder. It's the woman from the police station, the one that Ha-Ram saw frozen to death. She was found in her restaurant's freezer after it was dropped when gangsters were confiscating all of her husband's assets. The husband disappears by the time the detectives arrive, and Kwang Kyan is annoyed when he sees Black show up to the scene of the crime. At the police station, Black laughs at the captain's theory that the freezer woman was killed out of revenge. He offers to tell everyone what really happened, on the condition that the captain gives him back his gun. Black points out that the doctor who was killed at the mental hospital was a hot-blooded murder done out of revenge. But the woman in the freezer was a cold-blooded murder, a calculated death where the murderer wanted to put the woman through as much torture as possible first. Black adds that the woman didn't die of strangulation, she froze to death. The captain dismisses Black's theories, but soon has to eat his words when the autopsy results reveal that the woman's official cause of death was due to freezing. She was still alive when she was put in the freezer. Black arrogantly tells the other detectives that the woman's death is a warning to someone, and the murderer specifically wanted that person to see the body, and preserved it in the freezer. Black can also tell just by looking at the body that the woman has been dead for a month. No one believes him until the autopsy reveals that Black is, once again, correct. This means Black has earned his gun, which he happily swings around as he pretends to act like the TV detectives. Ha-Ram heads to the Royal Insurance offices to ask for Man Su's help. She also discovers that Royal Group purchased Chunsu Insurance years ago, which was the insurance company that originally investigated her father's case. Nan-Su is delighted to see her and tries to look up records of the man who investigated her father's case, but the man retired and moved overseas before Royal Group took over. Nor is there any record of her father being a client of Chunsu Insurance. Even more strange is the fact that there are no records from 1997 in the database. Nan-Su cheerfully offers to track down the hard copy of the file for her. Later, when Man-Su looks at Jin-Suk's file, he realizes that it's the same woman from the police station, and that Ha-Ram had accurately predicted her death. Nan-Su takes it as confirmation that Ha-Ram must really be a fortune teller. He goes to see her at her home, but she's trying to hide from her landlady, who's ready to evict her. Ha-Ram wants to know if he's found the file from 1997. But Man-Su's more curious about how she knew Jin-Suk would die. With her abilities, she can tell him if their VIP clients are going to die soon, and if so, they can find a way to prevent it so that Royal Insurance doesn't lose any more money on expensive payouts. At the police station, the detectives are going through Jin-Suk's phone records and see darling Su-Wan saved as a contact. Even though Black doesn't understand it, Kwang Kyan realizes that Su-Wan must know Jin-Suk. The next day, Ha-Ram returns home to find Man-Su waiting for her. He's got the file she wants and proves that he has it by telling her that her father had a tattoo of a spider. Ha-Ram dismisses him at first, since her father didn't have a tattoo, but she recalls the spider tattoo from the vision of the man who killed her father. Man-Su will only give her the file after she agrees to work for him, and he hands her a list of their VIP clients to investigate. In the morning, Black goes to a high school that his missing Reaper's sister attends. Black recognizes a boy who had been admitted to a hospital the day before. According to other students, the boy had attempted to commit suicide by jumping off the roof, but trees caught his fall, and he was only injured. Ha-Ram is also at the school, diligently working through her VIP list, which include a Keeball's daughter who is also a teacher. Both Ha-Ram and Black are surprised to find each other staring into the same classroom, and Ha-Ram is shocked when she sees a shadow coming from inside the student. Black is confused by what she can see, and Ha-Ram grumpily reminds him that she can see the death shadows, just like she told him, and which he should know full well. Black realizes that Loser must be in the boy, and he takes the student back to the rooftop, where the boy had originally committed suicide. Black threatens to shoot the boy to force Loser out, and the Reaper in the boy leaps out of the body. It's the high school Reaper from the hospital, not Loser. Black allows the student Reaper to return to the boy's body, but it's only a trick. He reminds the boy that when the body a Reaper possesses dies again, then the Reaper forgets all the memories they had while in that body. Black pushes the boy off the roof, and once the boy dies, the student Reaper is eventually captured by the Death Squad. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on the notification, and leave 1,000 likes or 100 comments if you'd like us to continue part 2. Thank you.